If asked, most people I know would say I've got my shit together. I have a job, a car, a nice house. I eat 10 fruits and vegetables a day, drink lots of water, and exercise regularly. I laugh and I dance and I have fun. I look fine. I act fine. But do I feel fine? That I'm not so sure about. That's the million-dollar question. When I think about how I feel, I think untethered, unhinged, unmoored, lost, like a ghost looking in the windows of a warmly lit house from the outside.
My name's Cicely. I am a 7th, 8th grade math teacher. One of my kids asked me the other day what was on my bucket list. It was like kind of a poignant question. I was like, oh kid. And I had to think about it. And then I told him, I was like, you know, actually the biggest thing on my bucket list is being a middle school math teacher. What would figure 4 look like? I get to go to work every fucking day and work with middle schoolers who are hilarious. I get stoked about these things. This is like, they pay me to do this. My life is, I wouldn't trade it. I don't want anybody else's life. Oh, the baby's
My name is Rachel. I'm a biomedical researcher. I study inherited diseases of the connective tissue. I've been a scientist for about, 13, 14 years now. And other things I like to do, I love to ride my bike. I like to commute to work almost every day. I love swimming because it puts you in the present, well, puts me in the present moment. You just dive into the water and everything melts away.
I have stage 4 breast cancer. I was diagnosed in 2009, right after my 30th birthday around Thanksgiving. Stage 4 means that I'm living with cancer until it kills me. And that can take a short time or a relatively long time, it really depends. I grew up with health insurance. I grew up in a 2-parent home. I grew up middle class. So when we're controlling for all of these factors that have health outcomes, the thing that's different is that I'm Black.
Diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, which is the most common form of breast cancer, when I was 35 years old. When I got diagnosed, it was absolutely shocking and sounded like a death sentence to my ears. I was like, I'm gonna die. And then you become educated on the disease that you have, and you find out that no, it's survivable, they're going to treat you, and you potentially are gonna live as long as you would have had you not got cancer, but there's always the chance that you could get cancer again and die early.
I didn't have a sense of cancer as a chronic illness. I mean, I guess one of the things that's different is that I just have this life that involves having a terminal disease that is not killing me in a way that seems active, or in a way that is visible, or in a way that is necessarily even tangible to me. I don't feel sick. I feel exhausted because I'm a first-year teacher, you know, because cancer makes you tired.
Especially having a diagnosis so young, I felt kind of outside of the norm of what a cancer patient looks like and is. So when I would go to my treatments, it was always people much older than me. And there you are, and they're kind of looking at you pitifully.
They would get so sad.
So sad.
For me, it made it feel like, oh God, like this is what you said about it being isolating.
Yeah, very isolating.
I mean, I think about like, how do people see you? And how does that shift? And in what ways does it shift when they find out that you have cancer? And it's funny because it shifts their perception in a way that's probably positive. Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it. You're so cheerful all the time.
You're always smiling.
And I would never guess. And it's funny, it inevitably becomes about them because it really is about them. Like, people want to put you in categories because it's comfortable for them. And not necessarily out of any kind of like awful, selfish impulse. Just like, it's scary. It's scary to think that you could be 30 and get cancer. It's really fucking scary.
Which actually makes me think of the other side of the coin with that, which is like, on the one hand, you have people going, oh, you're amazing. You're so strong. You're an inspiration. You know, I couldn't do that. But then there's the other side, which I've gotten, which goes with the scary thing, which is they want to know what you did to get cancer. Oh, if you had children earlier, would you have breast cancer?
You didn't do your monthly breast exams.
No.
Did you smoke? Is it one of your family? Like, they want to like pin it down. They want to pin it down so then they can be like, oh, okay, this is what she did. This is why.
Right.
Like, as women, we can't win. And so you didn't get a double mastectomy and people judge you about not getting a double mastectomy. I got a double mastectomy and everybody was like, oh, you're so brave. And so they got uncomfortable with the fact that I'm never going to have fucking prosthesis or reconstruction.
Yeah.
Especially with breast cancer, because it's fucking pink ribbons everywhere. And Susan G. Komen and like this whole gross industry around it. It's like, you get cancer and then you fight like hell and you never give up. And then either you succumb and everybody's really sad and it's awful, but you fought till the end, or you are victorious and you beat it and you never have to deal with it again.
Well, and then you beat it and you go back to how you were.
Exactly. And well, yeah, and that's beating it means everything goes back to normal. And it's like it doesn't exist.
I'm thinking about what I've heard about historically about breast cancer is people didn't talk about it because you don't talk about boobs. Like, we don't talk about breasts because they're a female thing. And I'm just going to be honest, I fell prey to that a little bit, not about the boob part, but I remember keeping my family and friends informed about all my treatments. I'm like, I'm in surgery, I'm in chemotherapy, I'm in radiation. And when my hormonal therapy stuff came up, I quit talking about it.
I remember you told me.
But I think that might be a part of also this cultural idea of what menopause is. That it's
like you're sexless.
Yeah.
You're croning. As women, our power comes from how beautiful we are and how much people want to fuck us. And if that goes away, then like, what do we have?
I told someone, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and they're like, well, when was that? How are you? I'm like, well, I just celebrated my 2 years disease-free anniversary, and it's kind of weird. And they're like, oh, so you're only 3 years away from being cured. And I was like, well, and it's like, I don't even want to tell people this.
you're like, yep.
Yep. But for breast cancer, that's not true.
Mm-mm.
I go in every year with the same risk to get cancer again. It's like 20 to 30% every year. It's just going back into the pool. I don't get to say after 5 years I'm cured. And actually, it gets worse. So
the longer you live without it, the more likely it is to come back.
God, it's really sick that we can laugh about this. It's really weird to think about the future. That's one of the things I think that I'm still hung up on. I don't think about the future much. The future is really, it's a hard thing to think about. I tend to sit in time like right here. But it's also a weird thing to not dream so much.
Hope is hard for me, and I don't enjoy disappointment. May was the first time that the cancer was shrinking, and it was so exciting, and I was so close to graduating, and it looked like it might be a possible thing that I would spend some time in a classroom as a teacher, which was a thing that was not a sure thing. I don't know, it was like I forgot. It was like I forgot that cancer is actually the boss of my life in a lot of ways, because it is. Cancer is the boss of my life, I'm not. I was like embarrassed that I forgot. It's like, it was the kind of embarrassment that's like when you're at the store and you're like, have bought all this stuff and you don't have enough money, or you don't have your money. Like, I just was like so mortified that I had like forgotten. I don't get to like make plans and have any sense that maybe they're gonna come, that maybe they're gonna happen. As my friend Deborah said, how embarrassing would it be if you didn't make any plans and then you didn't die? Like, that would be also mortifying. So I make the plans, but I don't ever, for a long time I didn't believe them. And then I did. And it was fine, but it wasn't that hot coming back down to earth. So I don't think I'm gonna be doing that again.
One might assume that battling cancer is the hardest thing I have ever done. They would be wrong. That war was easy, so to speak. There were rules to follow, orders to obey, and a very clear goal: to survive. No, picking up the pieces of my life in the aftermath is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, am doing, will be doing. Because the goal is more complicated than just to survive, it's to live. And now it's up to me to make up the rules as I go along.